big story today. Well, year 2011 witnessed major financial crisis around the globe. The current uncertainty reminds us the nightmarish trend of year 2008 when laying off had become the order of the day. But many experts believe that the strong fundamentals of the Indian economy would not only prevent any negative impact, but also numerous job opportunities are going to come up. Here's a report.
Year 2012 could begin with fresh hope for those who are looking for an upward career graph. A research report has predicted that there would be a whopping 5 lakh new jobs created this year. This all despite the uncertainties prevailing about the overall economic scenario worldwide. The Indian job market could not stay aloof from the financial turmoils of many developed nations, especially in the Eurozone in 2011, but emerged out of it rather strong as companies adopted a cautiously optimistic approach. Experts believe in the new year jobs would continue to be added, albeit at a slower rate. Adding to the chairs of the job market, the employees could expect double-digit salary hikes during 2012. The IT and technology sector will be the largest job provider, with almost half the jobs emerging here. Some HR firms expect hiring activities to increase by 7 to 8% in 2012 from the levels seen in 2011, as companies across the board increase their technology investments and entities from abroad look at India-based service providers or development centers. There is a bright prospect for both domestic as well as multinational companies based in India in the IT and ITES segment. In the coming months, job opportunities are expected to grow exponentially in sectors like retail, healthcare, and IT and ITES, defense, hospitality, and consumer durables. Experts believe that hardened interest rates are bound to come down, giving much-needed respite to banking. This should boost real estate and automobile sector, resulting in better job opportunities. Other sectors like retail, hotels, and hospitality could pick up pace in 2012. Analysts also say that FMCG and pharma are insulated from the recession and will remain constant. E-commerce too is a new kid on the block and is expected to compensate for any other dull scenarios. If experts are to be believed, average salary would increase from last year. Abhishek Jha's report, DD News, Delhi.
Studio by Mr. Sunil Goel, who's the director of Global Hunt. Thank you, Mr. Goel, for joining us here. Let's talk about this whole report that's come out about 5 lakh jobs being created in 2012. There were a couple of weeks back about reports about layoffs that were happening globally, and that could impact India as well. So how do we see these conflicting reports? Because a couple of weeks ago it was about a big banking sector actually laying off people, and close to 1,200 people in India probably.
See, the layoff and the hiring, both are the part of the industry movement, right? If you look at it, it's never a market or situation when the layoffs are not happening or the companies are not right-sizing their operations. And that can also vary from organization to organization. To just, support this, I tell you, as and when there's one company goes bankrupt, the another company takes over. It means the other company they see the potential in the market and possibilities. So they go ahead and hire them. So the ownership and the stakeholding changes, but the operations remains there, right? So from the overall perspective, if you look at, definitely the Europe and the US, both the economies are going through the turbulence, time. They've been fluctuating a lot. But India has been globally, if you look at from the advantage what we have from the India market perspective, we have a 50 to 60% which is a local consumption and 30 to 40% which is dependent on the export of services. And export of services which is majorly on a more of, you talk about IT, which has been the contact centers, the service centers, the back office operations, right, which has been a strength in India.
Sure, but do you think that's going to be impacted? We know what's happening in the US. We know that President Obama has been talking about not giving the tax breaks to companies or actually outsourcing to other parts of the world, and that is one fear we always had, that would really hit the Indian BPO sector, which was at a boom in the last few years.
See, there's a two aspect. A government-run organization, those who want to take a tax benefit, but they'll not be able to go and compete in the market. To compete in the market, it's very, very important that you have a cost-effective productions and the availability of the sources and the skills which are there. If you look at that, India gives the two things to the global market. One is that the cost-effective solutions, cost-effective services. Second is that there's a skills availability, which is there. We have the educated pool of the engineers and the MBAs and the graduates, which no other part of the world has it, what we have. So what, we used to talk about a population 10 years back, which not used to be a good thing for us, is actually has become, advantage for us today. So we have educated pool of the people, those who can service the global market. And from the geographical availability perspective also, we fit in the best. If for US market, we have the night shifts, which we call it, like 9 to 6, which is a non-working hours for the people here. They work and they generate the productivity, graveyard shifts, which generates a revenue for India, right? Similar way, India is strategically located from so many other countries. They're 2 hours ahead, 2 hours behind. So it has a flexibility to serve the multiple markets. Top of it, our flexibility to speak English. If you go and you look at China as a market, they have a constraint of the English. Even if you go in Europe, some part of that, Germany and others, where you'll find French-speaking people, not the English-speaking. Advantage what we have is those.
Those are the advantages clearly that we have. But when you're talking about these educated youth that we have, do you think they're employable? And what are the skill sets that we're looking at? Do you think that the skill sets that they are being provided are enough to actually take them forward, or are they going to be stuck in these industries? I mean, when you talk about the BPO, how long can it be a career platform for a young individual when you're talking about these night shifts? Parents are always very worried about youngsters joining these companies because they don't see a long-term future. And the attrition rate is very high as well.
If you look at, I'm not restricting this whole hiring to a BPO specific. BPO is a very, very small part of the whole industry. Today you look at that we did not have automobile R&D in India. Today we are looking at the companies, the Indian companies, those who had collaborations with the global partners, are looking forward to set up their own R&D centers in India. You did not have a good healthcare services centers in India. Today, India is going to become a global health tourism center, where a lot of the people from the different part of the world are going to come and going to get the medical treatment done here because of the cost effectiveness and availability. So it's not a one sector. BPO is just one of the sector which has actually emerged maybe 10 to 15 years back, and which started just giving like a contact center. Now we have emerged much above level than the contact center. Today we talk about, earlier people used to pick up the phone, used to do the customer services. Today you employ the engineers, you employ the chartered accountants, you employ the different kind of, cost accountants, MBAs to do their data analysis. Those jobs can be done during the day, those jobs can be done during the night. You only need the night when you have a direct customer interfaces. When you do not have a direct customer interfaces, a company X, which has to process a payroll of their 20,000 employees, if that activity has been done from the India, they don't need to work in the night. Then they need to work only in the day. So the voice-based, the BPO concept which was there, which was only dependent on the voice, has actually gone. Yeah, that has gone. So which is only the 10% of the industry. The 90% of the industry has become more of a database, the content-based, the value proposition, which is the middle office and the back office. The front office only goes and does the sales, but where your calls gets routed and who does the data crunching, as a customer you need